that you made as Chief Justice in public to the Supreme Court employees. I think at a flag raising ceremony, you said, in translation, basically, the whole world is witness that this appointment is God's will. Only God put me in this position. So my question is, after a year as Chief Justice, of all the things that have happened in the court, what else would you attribute to God's will? Or put another way, how do you reconcile your religious beliefs with your role as the primary guardian of our Constitution?
Okay. Siguro, if you don't mind, Howie, tatagalugin ko ito. Okay, na? Kasi mas tarok mas naiintindihan ng kapwa Pilipino natin ito. May paniniwala na pag ikaw ay naniniwala ng gusto sa Diyos, hindi ka pwedeng matalino. At hindi pa ka pwedeng hard-nosed, hindi ka pwedeng strategic, hindi ka pwedeng cunning, hindi ka pwedeng smart. Okay? Pero anong ginawa ko nung panahon na yun, Howie? Nung sinabi ko sa mga empleyado na galing sa Panginoon ito. Siyempre, unang-una, nung sinabihan ako ni Presidente Aquino, pinasalamatan ko na siya noon So, hindi ko na siya kailangan pasalamatan ulit sa harapan ng mga empleyado namin. Ano ang kaibahan ng pagbigay ng karangalan sa Diyos? Sa pagbibigay ko ng karangalan at pagpapasalamat kay Pangulong Aquino sa ginawa niyang desisyon. If man can glorify man, can give thanks to man, or even to himself, how different is that? If I do not give the glory to myself or to any man, but recognize God's centrality in all of these things. And this is not incompatible with my role as the chief guardian of the Constitution. Why? You read the preamble. We, the Filipino people, imploring the aid of Almighty God, ask for these ideals of democracy to flourish for prosperity and posterity. And if you believe that God is the author of intelligence, how can a deeply spiritual person at the same time be unintelligent because she believes in God? It is part of the tradition, for example, of Western Christianity, of Judeo-Christian traditions, that the most important universities in the world were put up by Christian, by pastors, by priests. That the greatest intellectuals were also theologians. Hindi incompatible ito So, wala akong nakikita kasi naiintindihan ko rin that it is part of my duty to be very respectful of the Constitution. In other words, I do not bring the Bible to my chamber, flip it open, and point to a verse as the answer when I'm making a decision. No. No. I had 4 years of training in law school to bank on, and my long years of experience as a lawyer and as a teacher of law. To do that, we have traditions. We have tools of reasoning. Only those legal analytical tools are allowed us. So I cannot quote the Bible and use that as the basis for my decisions. So there is a way for someone who believes in an immanent presence to try to serve humanity, to serve his fellow human being, not because it is part of self-glorification, but it is his duty to his divine maker. And it is a perfectly intelligent, rational decision to do so.
Follow up, Howie?
Yeah, that was quite clear. Thank you. I'll ask something much more mundane. No, when you were among the the candidates for this job, you were among the more junior. And when you were appointed, it raised not a few eyebrows. And I hear even among your colleagues in the court. And I just wanted to ask you, how is your relationship with the other justices? And has your relationship with them changed since you became Chief Justice? Because, of course, you were a justice before you became Chief Justice.
Okay. I knew you were going to ask that. So, there need not be a howl from you. You see, what I see right now are good working professional relationships. My proof. Since I sat as Chief Justice, I have presided over every en banc session, not a single one of which has been canceled because of undue absence, and not a single item of which has been skipped because of serious objections. The agenda items cover more than 5,000 plus agenda items over the course of these 12 months. For the first division, of which I am a member, we have covered more than 13,000 agenda items. I can tell you, if our working relationships are not good, how were we able to pass the efficient use of paper rule in a fast period of time? From the moment it was proposed to the moment it was unanimously approved. What about the judicial affidavit rule? And I have heard that the prosecutors are already withdrawing all their objections to the judicial affidavit rule. We just passed yesterday, and I'm sorry, you did not pick it up. Teddy was telling you how historic yesterday was because we just approved the rules on financial rehabilitation. And we are now in the second phase where we are going to review the rules on insolvency. And on September 3, the members of the Civil Code Revision Committee, made up of more than 100 people, Dinjok, no? From across the country, academicians, practitioners, judges, are going to go to the session hall of the Supreme Court to present their work of 4.5 months, I guess, or 6 months, and present it to the court for possible approval. 3 weeks ago, 2 justices from the Sandigan Bayan made a presentation to us of the proposed revised internal rules of the Sandigan Bayan, where they are proposing many of the motions for delay are going to be prohibited. That on top of 13,000 agenda items. If our relationship with each other, professional, is not good, how could we have achieved such historic landmarks? How could I have convinced them to expedite approval of the electronic court piloting in Quezon City, and then the Justicia Decongestion Program, which is right now receiving so much intense attraction from our internal stakeholders? How could I have even discussed with them the future of a possible Supreme Court building if we are not able to work with each other? In other words, I had earlier been discussing about the need to demythify and to de-intriguize, if there is such a word, discussions on the Supreme Court. Such a amount of work that had been going on could not have been done if the justices of the Supreme Court had been devoting their time to destructive activities. You have a very constructive and a very hardworking Supreme Court. And even the case congestion, even our court dockets are being drastically reduced. An attention that has been receiving top priority from us. And look at the election cases that we have had. We prioritize them immediately. In October, I issued a Dear Colleagues letter. I asked them, please, can you kindly finish all the election cases before May 2013 comes around? And you know what they did? They all responded. So the drafts of the decisions all came. And except for 1 or 2, we basically have cleared all pre-2013 contests of our plates. So, that is the data that I have, Howie, to answer you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next to us will be Linda Humilia of ABS-CBN.
Good afternoon, Madam Chief Justice. And thank you for this opportunity. I'm tempted to ask which Chief Justice would flip open the Bible and randomly point at a verse to base his decision